Welcome to the Forest of Niflhel. In this conquest map, players will vie for control of 3 score-generating capture points. Additionally, on each side of the map, there are 2 bosses that grant 25 points and a bonus to all stats to the team that lands the killing strike. The first team to 500 points wins.
And we're back on the map here now, guys. Abjured versus Random Dodge, game number 1. First team to 2 victories will move on. Well, not even move on. We'll win today's tournament and take home that top prize. So let's take a look at the opening splits from both sides. Random Dodge will not go for a cross, but the Abjured will do their usual cross out here, as we are going to see Fanta heading over towards the far point at the hedge. Magic Toker also going to cross up through mid to stop any incomings there. But an interesting development for the blue side is that they're not going to send anyone here through the normal route. Everyone is opening boss. Whoa, that's a bit different. In fact, it's often a ridiculed strategy, but blue team is going to go for an opening boss kill here on a chieftain in order to give them a 25 additional points, and they'll be left to finish it off as Karina leaves this and heads over towards the midpoint. But what the heck is the cheese right now? Oh my goodness, they're going to cheese the crap out of the opener now as they head back over towards Svanir. Lord Vrail is going to go for the kill into that as Ostrogix pushes forward back over here onto the mine point. He'll attempt to decap that one and stop Nos from reinforcing what's happening here at Svanir too, but you've got 5 gauge as well as Magic Toker in to support this one in just a second as well, as you're going to see Magic Toker not even willing to screw with the boss. They're just dive bombing over onto Lord Vrail, but he's got Ender in the area to support him, and I don't think they're going to go for that boss there as Svanir resets right now, and in a very interesting pose, I should mention. He'll get his health back, and they'll focus once again up on that mid fight over there, but I think blue team's still going to push into this, so let's see, because this is a very interesting opener coming out from these guys. And check out some of the other fights. You've got Commander Quaggan facing off against Fantaram back over here at the henge node. Midpoint is going to get decapped in just a second by Ender, and then beyond that as well, we're going to see red team, who I believe is cleaning up the mine point right now, go for Svanir. Lord Vrail and Karina is ready to go here. Lord Vrail is going to have a steal up in just a second, but not going to be in enough time, so the red side will take control of this boss, but nonetheless, Lord Vrail still trying to play aggressively, gets caught out there by Magic Toker, so won't be able to push in, but nonetheless, moving back from this one as well, Lord Vrail's still going to be sitting here trying to duel off against Magic Toker, and this fight will probably go for a fairly long time, and we'll probably see Nos full cap in the meantime before he actually gets the kill off there. Karina has been bursted down as well by a 5 gauge kind of around the back here, and now we'll see those red team reinforcements start to pile into mid, where currently it is Ender only sitting here alive at the moment, and Mikey's going to dive in there. Those two will be forcing off for a very long time, and then beyond that, as we head back over here towards the henge, you've got Ostrogix, Lord Vrail, as well as Commander Quaggan. They've taken out Fantaram, and he's in the downstate now. Magic Toker might be able to go for an SRS, which is indeed going to be the case, but they already know the location of Fantaram's corpse. They could technically go for Clee, but not going to happen, as you see Nos as well as Magic Toker coming in there. They're going to get a very quick res off onto Fantaram. He comes back up in the action now. The Abjured has that full support ready to go for them, and then beyond that now, Ostrogix is going to get a lot of burst scrolling onto him. He'll fall into the downstate now, and they'll try to SR res him, but I'm not sure if they've gotten enough pressure here to get him back up. Lord Vrail taking a lot of DPS. He's going to go into the downstate, and this is there where things are going to start to get a little bit ugly here, folks, as once again the Abjured is going to start to lock down this map with them decapping the henge in just a moment. They do have a full cap on mid, which that won't get taken away anytime soon. Karina has rotated over here towards the mine point, but we'll see 5 gauge coming in to stop that from being fully capped, and actually cancel that. Karina gets a nice fear chain off onto 5 gauge, so Karina will get the full cap. They're going to trade the henge node for the mine node, and now especially with Ender coming in to support the mine a little bit more, they are going to be able to escalate things into a 3 versus 2, however, now with Magic Toker diving in, which they can defend for a little bit here and hopefully try to hold on to this node, but almost immediately we'll see Wakey try to go for that decap there. Ender will dive onto the point and take the spot, as those two will be probably on node here for a fairly long time. Red team does have a lot more freedom here because of the fact that they already have the node. But keep in mind too here that with the play cooldown ready to go, technically speaking, Ender and Karina can rotate on and off point here. Magic Toker, though, as we take a look at him, has taken quite a large amount of DPS, and these burns might actually take him out. You can see over there, too, that we're actually seeing Lord Vrail try to take out Magic Toker, but unfortunately not going to be too successful in those poke attempts. Nonetheless, though, Ender will now fall into the downstate. Commander Quaggan and Vrail will attempt to go for that res, but a big crate coming out there from 5 gauge. Frost grenades connecting onto all 3 players there, too. They get Ender back up, and Lord Vrail now needs to get the heck out of here, but not going to happen as Magic Toker gimps him out. He goes into the downstate once again, and now with all this cleave coming in, stomp attempt from Magic Toker at the moment, too. Magic Toker not going to be able to port stomp correctly there. So Vrail's still alive as Ender will attempt to go for the res as well. We'll see the updraft coming in from Wakey, I believe, as they push them away. Lord Vrail's going to go full dead now, and it looks like the Abjured will probably be able to rally the cap back over here at the mine and once again restore order in their favor. Commander Quaggan, the last defender now from the guys on Random Dodge, will be going down. Ender can dive onto the point if he really does want to, but diving in head first into a 3v1 may not be the best option, especially as we head back over here towards the midpoint. You can see that they've got 2 other players already mounting an offense here, and it's going to be much better to rally and try to push back into this point, keeping a fight going and keeping the Abjured on their toes, which they can use to their advantage later on in the opener. Back over at mid, as we check out what's going to develop at this fight. Already you can see again those reinforcements just tumbling in from the Abjured at the moment. 5 gauges here are going to take down Ostrich Eggs. Magic Toker in the area too. He'll probably jump right back onto the node there. Phantom is taking some pressure from Ender, but obviously again with them both being DD, Celieli's not going to be much happening there in the way of kind of even rotations. Those two will just be locked in combat forever until reinforcements come in, which obviously with 5 gauge taking O-Eggs out just a few seconds ago, it will most definitely be in the Abjured's favor as they attempt to get this 2-cap back. But once again, they're still keeping a constant decap going over here as well, as Lord Vrail is going to be able to get back over here onto the henge point. He will take Wakey on over here, but unfortunately, again, Wakey's got much better on-point presence here, so Wakey will still end up getting the cap in time, as Lord Vrail has a limited amount of dodge-up time, so he'll get forced away from this node. And then once again, we'll see Red Team get back control of not only that node, but as we were expecting, they're going to control the middle here in just a second too. Once again, resuming their 2-cap and resuming their lead in the current matchup. Ender goes down off of the mid node, and then back over here at the mine, you've got Commander Quaggan trying to hold on to this node now, but no reinforcements are coming anytime soon, as you can see from the big map here. And unfortunately, with him locked in a 2v1, he might be able to survive for a few more seconds, but with that nice CC coming in mainly from 5 gauge, it's going to be a nice quick and easy kill for the Abjured once again, as Magic Toker takes out Run, and they'll take control of this node and the third and final cap that they need. And I gotta scratch that once again. This is actually probably the most interesting thing, is the Abjured actually hasn't locked down a 3-cap. Like every single match they've played in the past, I would say 3 to 4 weeks, the Abjured has locked down 3-caps and has just dominated every single game they've played. But I don't think they've actually gotten a single full 3-cap yet in this week, or in this matchup specifically. So Random Dodge is actually putting up a pretty decent fight for them. It just really comes down to the fact that it seems that the Abjured's rotations are becoming a lot better. They're able to cut off more players and overall stop a lot more incomings. And with that happening, obviously the fights just sort of go hand in hand with it, as we do see the Abjured winning it because they're cutting off so many players, because they're killing so many people on the roads. Unfortunately, Random Dodge is just not able to keep up with that, and they end up getting outnumbered time after time after time again. Lord Vrail will fall down back over here, and he'll probably get eliminated in a few moments. Magic Toker sitting in a bit of a risky spot, if I can actually rotate my camera over to see him. Magic Toker over there is going to actually dive in just a second here as he attempts to get that kill off onto Karina, which he'll do, but he's got to skirt along the sides. He's still fairly low, healing himself up right now, and actually chasing down Ostrich Eggs. He's attempting to leave this engagement. Bit of a risky engagement onto Magic Toker, or onto Ostrich Eggs there, but we'll still be going for it nonetheless as he gets his heal off there. Both kind of evened out against Ostrich Eggs at the moment, and is overall just trying to stop him from decapping that midpoint, as they want to keep a consistent 2-cap. They want to end this game, they want to win another cup, and they want to take home their money. So as we see that what's happening at mid there, Ostrich Eggs will get 2 versus 1. A decap will be happening back over here at the mine with Lord Vrail going for that one, and we'll get that off without a hinge, as there's no one else from the red team to contest that currently. And then back at the henge once again, Ender has managed to, well, the blue team members overall have managed to take down Nas. Karina and Nas were in a bit of a 1v1 where they had a downstate fight, but Nas will still win the downstate fight, and now the pressure shifts over on Ender, where he'll probably get eliminated in just a few seconds. Back over on the midpoint to see what's happening there, Wakey as well as Magic Toker fighting off against now 2 players from the blue team. Commander Quaggan has already been under pressure for a little bit of time, so as we see what's developing here, Magic Toker actually gets hit up pretty heavily. He's going to get forced to shadow step out of this engagement, but even so, when he does so, catches up onto Lord Vrail there, who puts a nice number of damage onto him. And as well, we're going to see Lord Vrail giving out Magic Toker, no one around to resurrect him, so he's probably going to get eliminated. And for the first time in this matchup, I believe we'll see the blue team take the 2-cap. Unfortunately, it's happening very late in this game, so even with this potential 2-cap coming up here over the next few seconds, they're still going to be way too far behind. They're still about 300 points behind, so the Abjured will probably still take game 1. But I mean, we've slowly been seeing progress made here from the guys on Random Dodge. They've actually been doing a fairly good job with trying to make these comebacks happen, and overall, they've been getting progressively better at trying to counter out the Abjured strategies and overall trying to rotate around what they're trying to do. Map number 2, when we go on to that one, will be a lot more brutal just because of the fact that the Abjured is an absolute monster on that map if they win the initial fight. But with the knowledge they're getting now, and with the sort of turnaround performance that we're starting to see here at the end of this game, it could lead to some potentiality heading into game number 2, where we just might see Random Dodge slip through the cracks here and cause the Abjured to maybe, just maybe, lose a tournament game here in one of these ESL Weekly Cups, as once again the Abjured has remained almost completely undefeated for I don't even know how many weeks now. But it's looking like game number 1 is probably going to go to these guys. They're about 50 points away from claiming game number 1 to their favor. Now we've almost have a full wipe going across the board here. Lord Vrail will get a nice kill off on a Nas, but beyond that, Ostrich Eggs is down, Ender's down, Karina and Commander Quaggan has just respawned. The only one really on the board essentially right now is going to be Lord Vrail. He'll go over here towards the mine and attempt to decap it, but as you can see, sitting right behind him is going to be Wakey. He will stop that up pretty quickly. And obviously, again, the lock down the 3-cap, so game number 1 most definitely going in their favor. And this will put the Abjured in a position where they only need one more game, in order to win this week's cup once again and take home another $400 for their team, and as well send home Random Dons with $100 as well as 2,000 gems per player. Game number 2, guys, is coming up here in just a few minutes, so stick around for that. We're going to kick up the tunes really quickly, and as soon as our players have loaded in and are ready to play, map number 2 on the Legacy of the Faux Fire for the Abjured versus Random Dons is coming up here at the North American ESL Go4GuildWars2 Cup number 17.
Yeah.
The match starts soon.
A throwback to Guild vs. Guild from the original Guild Wars, the Legacy of the Faux Fire has teams vying for control of 3 score-generating capture points. Locked away within each team's keep resides the Guild Lord. Killing the enemy team's Guild Lord will grant your team 150 points, potentially swaying the outcome of the match. First team to 500 points wins.
We are back now, folks. Welcome back once again. This is the Abjured versus Random Dodge in the grand finals of the North American ESL Go4GuildWars2 Cup number 17. We've already got some combat getting started, so let's take a look once again as blue team has pushed pretty heavily here onto the midpoint, as is the red side. 3 versus 1 going on this midpoint onto Commander Quagget specifically, but he has some support on the sides here, mainly from Ender, but Ender will be rotating off of this in just a second. Back over here onto the waterfall as well. We are going to see blue team taking full control of that in a moment, as they have managed to push the red team offenders away from this one. Quarry, of course, has gone to the full control of the Abjured, so they have that under their belt, and now they need to push very heavily here onto the midpoint or push for that far point, as with them losing Commander Quagget, that is going to start to hurt their potentiality to control the midpoint here over the next few minutes too. Bursting in towards the mid is going to be Lord Vrail now, trying to put some DPS over on the Magic Toker specifically, catches him out with a little bit overall, not getting too lucky with those procs there, so Magic Toker is still going to sit at a very high health pool. Karina also goes in here, we'll try to get off those Morgana chains, but Magic Toker once again will dive out of that fight. He's actually quite a few condies on him. They're very short duration condies, and not much utilization or not much kind of follow-up was taken upon that with Lord Vrail over there, so he's going to be forced to fall back, and once again back over here right off of the quarry point too. We're going to see 5 gauge and Nos duel Ostrijags, and Ostrijags unfortunately will not have a very bright future because of this. Is trying to use the slick shoe speed to try and get out of this, but not going to be happening. Gets the heal off, doesn't heal up for too much, and I think we'll see Ostrijags going down in just a few moments. To head back over towards the mid to see what's going on there. Blue team's actually slowly wrapping things into their favor, as we see Wakey getting pretty low over here too. He might be bursted out over the next few moments, but it's still going to take them a long while, as they've got that pressure coming in from Magic Toker. Not only this, but now we have 5 gauge in this fight, putting pressure onto them as well. That adds a lot more difficulty to their potentiality, to their ability to take control of this midpoint, and overall makes it a lot harder for them. Heading back over towards the waterfall to check that out, we've got Karina as well as Ender trying to focus down Fantaram, as they just got the decap as Fanta specifically rather just got the decap a few moments ago. Fanta is going to fall back here, get some support from 5 gauge. I'm not sure if they'll double back to re-engage, but yeah, it looks like at least Fanta is going to do that. 5 gauge will dive into this one too, as the Abjured is just going to go for that lockdown. This is, like I said, this is that map where they're an absolute monster if they win the initial fight, and with us seeing the result coming out of middle now, with Lord Vrailgun and Commander Quagget going down at once, I think it's safe to say that they won that initial fight, which puts Random Dodge into a very hard position to make a comeback now, just because every single time we have seen the Abjured win that middle fight, they've locked things down. It's been very hard for opponents to make a comeback against them. But anyway, as we head back over towards Waterfall, or at least the general area of Waterfall, Karina trying to lock down 5 gauge, as he did decide to push in over towards the Waterfall to put pressure onto him. It is proving, at least for 5 gauge, to maybe be a little bit of some overzealousness. Oh, in 1 second. Alright. So 1 second, because I don't believe we have an admin in the room, so I kind of got to let him know what to do here, folks. I'll have to ask an admin too, what's the dealio with that. But anyway, continuing on with the cast for the time being, Waterfall is still being contested by the Abjured as they attempt to lock down that third and final node over here. Ender as well. It's probably going to get going down here over the next few minutes. Karina getting knocked down. And once again here too, we will see Wakey probably going for the full kill onto that. Lord Vrail actually does take 5 gauge down, but the timing on this is not going to be too well, as we saw right there. Wakey was already about to execute Karina, so they will get him right back up. Ender as well will get stomped off on the point, and there's going to be Abjured holding onto the 3 cap. Now with Orin being forced to reconnect here, this is obviously going to put them in a bit of a peculiar spot too. But I do believe that we do have an honor coming out from the Abjured, so Nas is just going to sit outside the base. They will honor 4v4 until we see Orin loading back into the map here and getting himself reconnected into the match. So good job on, well, just good sportsmanship coming out there from the Abjured, and I wanted to note that as a side thing there. But anyway, the Abjured still holding on to this 3 cap. Lord Vrail trying to push over here towards the quarry as we continued on with that. But as we take a look, it looks like Lord Vrail is unfortunately going to go down, but won't be able to get rezzed up too highly, and Karina as well will unfortunately get caught into a pretty bad spot, so she's just going to, or he's rather, just going to fall right back towards the base and try to regroup with some teammates so they can make a more concise push back in. And now we've got to run back into the game, so they're going to push in, and we might see a GG called out here pretty early, guys. Just trying to make sure we have a confirmation on that GG. Alright, yep, so that's going to be it, guys. The Abjured are once again just going to stop through this week's weekly cup. Bit unfortunate with the disconnect there, but we have seen the 5th player from Random Dodge disconnect now, and they are going to call the GG at this point as well. So game number 3, like I said, the Abjured, once they lock down that once they lock down that initial fight in their favor, they are just an absolute monster with controlling the map there, and that was unfortunately what we had happen there. They took control of that midpoint. The guys on Random Dodge just weren't able to pull that one off, and with keeping that in mind, they just pretty much locked in the 3-cap from there. And that unfortunate bug there that we had happen with the roll only strengthened the Abjured's control. So with that in mind, guys, that's going to be it. The Abjured will claim yet another cup this week. They'll be taking home $400 US, and the second place team, Random Dodge, will be taking home $100 US as well as 2,000 gems per player. Thank you all very much for tuning into today's cup. Don't forget this cup happens every Sunday at 4:30 Eastern, not 4:30. Sorry, this cup happens every Sunday, I believe, at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, or 22 CET if you're living in Europe. You can tune into it right here every Sunday at twitch.tv/GuildWars2. And if you cannot join us for any other events happening throughout the week, guys, we hope you will join us next week at the North American ESL Go4GuildWars2 Cup number 18. My name has been Blue. If you want to follow me on Twitter, there's my Twitter right there. And yeah, so thanks once again, guys, and we'll catch y'all next week. Bye.